So we're announcing Spoon Records. It's kind of more of a distribution company than a record label, although it's kind of both, is because we don't own copyrights, we don't own masters. So that's a big part of having a record label. You own copyrights and masters. We don't do that. So we leave that to the artists because that's how those ownerships should be, in our opinion. We're more of a distribution company than we are a record label, but we call ourselves a record label. What that means is we don't own copyrights, we don't own masters, we don't want anything to do with that.
One of the hats that we're putting on is like the curating of these things. Curation. Instead of someone on their own trying to find out all of this on their own or discover this kind of music, we're kind of trying to bring it all in and as like a package deal and present it to people to where they know where to go when they want this kind of product, you know?
No, that's well. I'm comfortable with product. I think it's okay to say that, you know.
Yeah.
But you're right. This is a lot about is curation, both from like what we choose to put out, as well as artists that we think have potential, and they're just not there yet. We want to work with them, but we're not going to just put something out just because someone sends us something. And also curating in the sense of like you may not know where to look, like Daniel just said. You may not know where to look for. You may not even know that there's like a Punchy that exists and she's Orthodox. You may not know that, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, she's Orthodox and she's doing this. That's crazy. We're not going with like those a lot of those companies that'll just punch a single copy of a vinyl 45. They're not expensive, but they're cheap quality. You don't have to buy in bulk, but they're cheap quality. We don't want to do that. We're doing this old school, and we're going full on good quality vinyl, good quality product. So we're going to need to buy in bulk. You support your artists out there, from the visual to the audio. We also want to support the priests as well. We want to kind of create some sort of symbiotic way of kind of doing that. I want to develop artists too. There's some artists that we think are really good, and this kind of applies to all content creation, from podcasts to videographers to artists, you know, drawing artists, graphic designing artists, musicians. So we do want to actually have some the ability to actually do what I used to do at the record label. I really loved it. It was one of my favorite things, is finding artists that weren't just ready yet but had something, and go to them and encourage them and get them to the level where they can put something out. So I really want to develop some artists too. Like I really, really, really want to do that. So that'll help us if you support us to be able to develop some new artists so we can add to the roster, right? We pay our artists. We will be paying our artists. We'll be paying our graphic designer. We'll be paying our producers and engineers. So every sale, every single copy, we'll be paying each person that's involved in the process. The money does not go directly to the label, and only the label keeps it and gives them like crappy pay. We're happy to even transparently show everyone our pay scale. We will definitely be doing that with the artists. We also want to have a system that we're trying to figure out the best way, where each artist, when I say artist, that also includes someone that does the artwork, someone that does the mixing and mastering, all of that stuff, right? They'll be able to go on our site and they'll be able to see how many copies were sold, how many were shipped, right? And then how much money they can expect. We want everything to be transparent and out in the open. The reason we don't sign contracts with our artists is we hope that we can provide a service to you, the audience, and to the artists to be able to make some money off their art. And it's so enticing and it's such a good deal that why would they go somewhere else? It's not the smartest move in terms of business, I know. I've worked the record label stuff, so I know, but I can't bear to do the contract and hold someone down. All I know is that if we provide good service to the audience and you guys buy it, enjoy it, and love it, and want more of it, you'll continue to do that. You'll also know that you'll be supporting each one of the artists out there. A lot of labels out there will give you the runaround. I'll just leave it at that for now. I'm happy to go into more detail and explain, but I bet you even independent artists that are out there, they're not going to be making as much per copy as we're paying our artists. So that's something that's very important to us. We wanted to mention that. But we want to create like a place where artists can come to, just kind of like the show and kind of some of the stuff that we've done, where it's kind of a little bit more chill. I mean, we talk about some stuff, but you come here to hang out, you come here to chill. Hopefully this gets to the point where, hard day's work, you come home, slap on that vinyl, let it take you somewhere, kind of calm you down from a rough day, a hard day. Maybe you had a great day and you want to celebrate anyways. Then you pick up the LP, you flip through it, you see some of the artwork. It makes you go, who drew this? Who did this piece of artwork? And then their name will be there, and you go look them up, and all of a sudden, your kids this. So yeah, buy the 45s, buy the T-shirts to help us get to the 45s. We're gonna talk in a few minutes about ways you can support us, but we're all about trying to give you something as we take from you, we want to give something back. So
yeah, the idea is to add value, right? To create things that are of value, whether they're the merchandise, the music, etc. That you're getting something of value, something valuable, a good product, because people need things.
100%. Everyone on our roster is Orthodox. There's some people that have band members that may not be, but for the most part, everyone's Orthodox. All right. So then what did you have next on that? The first release that we have? Is that what you had?
Yeah.
Okay.
The exciting first release.
So yeah, we're starting with vinyl, actually. We'll probably be doing vinyl and CDs at the same time. So wait for the announcements for when that's up. The vinyl is being currently mastered by Post Feedum. He's mastering both tracks. Dan is working on the artwork. The idea is we'll be starting off with kind of like old school, where you would drop a single. We'll be doing 45s, where instead of having one artist have side A, side B, what we're doing is we're pairing up a lot of our artists. And the very first pairing, and we kind of planned everything out so that it's paired properly. This is the 80% almost done artwork. Father Turbo Koals on one side and Justin Marler on the other. Father Turbo Koals from his former band, Tread the Cobra, and the track is Line in the Sand. And so Father Turbo sent them a message. He sent us some of the artwork that he had from his original release on CD back in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. And a quick description of some of the images and how he wanted it to flow. Here's the thing is we are talking with a bunch of the artists, and some have are 100% in. And then there's a couple others that we still have to keep talking with. So the first release is Father Turbo and Justin Marler, as we said. It's very fitting, both because of their images and their in terms of the aesthetics of what they put out there, their backgrounds, punks, monk, priest, that whole thing, and it's very fitting. Then we don't know if it's going to be necessarily in this order, but these are the pairings we're going to do, so we don't know exactly how we do them. So the second pairing, Gene Reeves and Doug Burr, two Texans who know each other, and Dave Sims, who's in the chats, is also all over the work of Doug Burr as well as Glenn. So we're going to pair up Doug Burr with Gene Reeves. Shout out to Texas, as well as their sounds are very fitting. Obviously, they're Texan, so there's definitely that Texas flavor. Another pairing will be myself and Chase Haggard. Just have to continue. We have to just have a couple more talks with Chase, but Chase is very interested. Chase Haggard, if you guys don't know, last Monday we played some Chase. He's ridiculous. He's one of my favorites. I love his music. Reason why we paired those two together is we're the two weirdos of the we're the two weirdos of the label for sure. So we figure that those two paired together well. We have some other ones, but I can't announce them yet until there's some other talks that are going to be had. So there are going to be some other types of releases. We'll be doing compilations where we take one track from every artist and put it together in a packaged LP. So you'd get an LP. The artwork will be different. There'll be more inserts in it. There'll be some upgrades to the LP, and it won't be exactly the same songs that were released on 45s. But we don't know exactly how we're going to play with that. So stay tuned for some of that. Also, suggestions are welcome. We're going to put out some mixtapes as well. Again, we're doing CDs. We're doing vinyl. and we're probably going to be doing cassettes as well. But the mixtapes we're going to do will probably be on the 45s, on the tapes, on the CDs. We don't know exactly how we're going to play it, but that's something we want to get back to, like the old days, where someone would make a mixtape, spread it around. We also have Michael Sellis on the team as well. He's going to be helping do a lot of the engineering as well as a live album series. We're going to be doing a lot of that live recordings. We'll be talking more about Michael Sellis in a bit when we get to the other news. So I wanted to also let you guys know the two engineers behind us and producers will be Post Phenom and Michael Sellis. We're also going to be putting out full albums of artists that are interested in putting out a full album.
I mean, there's just an incredible amount of talent within these communities, so creating a platform to where this talent can be seen and appreciated by people, I think it's important. Just how much talent there is out there within our friend group and stuff. And so it's time to do something with it.
Yeah, well put, Daniel, and that's very true. We want to give, as they say, a platform. We're going to tell you guys how you can help support us so that we can do this and put this out and get these guys paid, and we can continue to do other projects, bigger projects that brings us to you guys. And again, like I said earlier, this is all about going from digital to analog. So in this case, the music is digital to analog, but we want to make an emphasis on live shows, which is why I brought up Michael Sellis. So part of the announcement, I'll mention that later. Some of the traveling that's going to be happening. We're going to be doing an actual recording, and we're also going to be putting that on vinyl. And a lot of what we're hoping you guys can help us with by just supporting the project, and we'll tell you how you can do that in a minute. It also brings us to Spoonfest. We talked about that last year. We wanted to do this live conference and live show. We want to be able to be doing that all over the place, all over the country. And like, even if it's on a small scale, it doesn't have to be big. We've been asked to kind of go to some conferences and stuff. Also, another one that I don't know if I told Daniel about yet, but I can't just say it fully, but I might be going to this other conference next year, and I'm trying to set up a show there. So when I get there, there's Orthodox musicians ready to play, and Michael Sellis is there with me to help record it so that we can actually put out live performances as well as just the pre-recorded stuff. So that's something that we definitely want to double down on. So basically, once we get the first 45 out, depending on how quickly it sells, because we're going to need some money to be able to afford to put out the 45, because we're actually doing this proper. We're not going to one of those vinyl record companies that just kind of pops out one like single copies. Those are very cheap. The quality is cheap, and we're not going that way. We're going proper, actual, legitimate, proper 45s, proper LPs. So with doing that, we have to like get the cash to be able to upfront and buy in bulk, right? So the first 45 will be released as soon as we have a couple of loose ends tied, including getting the cash together. And then as soon as we see like, okay, it's selling, then we're going to put out the second one. And again, it's not in this order, and we're going to follow that pattern, second and then the third, depending on how quickly they sell. So we're going to use the money from the first release to pay for the second release and the third, and so on and so forth. I'll tie this up by saying the best way you could support us, there's multiple different ways. One is joining school. This is about building community, and this is about building value so that you want to be part of the community, okay? And we've heard a lot about our community, and people like the way that our groups work, our chats work, our Telegram works, and all of that. It is about supporting artists. It is about supporting Orthodox Christian artists, but it also supports you and your life because you're already consuming stuff. Why not like this? That's edifying, that really triggers some questions, that really kind of opens conversations. We're starting it off at $10 to a month for joining. We're not going to increase that, but we're going to have other tiers depending on what we do down the line. So that $10 will go to supporting everything we talked about. You could buy merch. You can support Daniel's artwork, our hard efforts in putting things together, the artists that we want to put out their vinyl with, because we're going to use that money to help us fund this. You can support us through donations. Really, where you get something back in return and all that is buying the merch, joining school. We want to get to the point where everything's transparent. So we're going to find a way to do that. That's important to me, so everyone sees where every dollar goes. The traveling, the vinyl, and all the stuff that we've talked about will support us, but also will support you by us getting to create this community for real. Exclusive content. So a lot of the stuff underneath exclusive content are parts of the exclusive content, but let's break down a little bit about exclusive content and what that means, and actually give you an example of something that you can find if you went to join. Before I get into like the video stuff, because I want to talk about it and then play a little bit of a little trailer that I made about one of the videos that you can find on School.
You know, I didn't get involved in the occult because I wanted to hang out with the devil. I got involved with the occult because I was searching for the truth.
When I sent you the message, I'm like, what's on your mind? And your answer was, the end of the world, what it means. You want to go into that a little bit?
Sure. As far as we know, we have never had a global corruption that required global repentance, except in all of these ancient stories, because the flood was global. And when they built the Tower of Babel, what do we know about the Tower of Babel? Now we're about to go full circle. We're about to go full circle, brother.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Because currency is a language. The meter is a language.
Wow, all right. Whoa. That's so awesome. You did full circle. Yo, that's crazy. Yeah, dude. That's so true. Oh, wow. You blew my mind right there, sir. Well done. Wow.
I went out into the distance to the end of the world, and then we came all the way back to where we started. And so for me, mission accomplished.
Like the best ending, too. I'm leaving all of this in right down to where I push this button. Boom. So Father and the Guys.
Father and the Guys, though, it sounds like we just started our first collab band.
It's okay.
Look at that scar.
It's okay.
Look at that scar.
He's so hardcore.
That should be an album cover right there.
What are your instruments you play?
In that one, you know, the last time I played with somebody, I played with my sons, which is like a highlight of my life.
But I'm trying to do more live records. AI's everywhere, and it's starting to drive me nuts. I want to do a very Orthodox record, but I want to get an Orthodox drummer, and I don't know one yet.
Oh, Orthodox drummer, Buck Johnson.
Yeah. Buck plays? No way.
Oh, yeah.
I never cared about playing fast just to play fast, but I always wanted to be able to do it if it was required. So for me, it was always a composition. And I already like some of Prince's stuff. Yeah, so Prince got me here. Eddie Van Halen was, yeah, sure. He had some kind of wild energy. Yngwie Malmsteen, Randy Rhoads.
I grew up listening to a lot of soul and funk. You know, like my dad in the record store, gospel, post-punk, and goth. You know, The Clash, Pistols, and like post-punk stuff like PIL, New Order. Joy Division. Later on, I got really into Stax.
Justin lost power? Like in the house?
I like Father Turbo. I'll keep talking to him. It's great.
Yeah, he's all right.
It's funny when I met Jay. He was just like, "Oh, you're kind of a brawler."
Oh, Jay Dyer?
Yeah, he's like,
yeah.
I thought I could take you, but
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jay seems like he's scrappy in a bar fight. You know what I mean? If you just needed someone for some backup, he could be a good third. You know.
No more network.
So one of the things we want to use the money from the subscriptions or any other ways that we get donations or support. So that could be through merch and School. But right now we're talking about School. Joining School, you will help us do some traveling. Now, why would that matter to you? Here's a good example. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to go and meet Daniel face to face. And Daniel and I are going to hug. And we're going to do this together. Like this. Hug and then do this. We need to get a video of that. I'll be going to North Carolina and South Carolina, and I'll be meeting with Daniel. Daniel is gracious enough to set this up and help me out with this. This is great. We're going to go meet Michael Sellis as well, who we've mentioned before. We played his track on SOS. Also, John Hears. We're going to go see John Hears. I'm going to attend the Supra. Daniel, you're going to the Supra too, right?
Oh, yeah.
So the three of us are going to go to a Supra with John Hears. We're also going to be shooting some footage. That's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to go from the digital to the analog. So in this case, we talked about going digital analog with music. Now we're going to be doing it with human beings. I met Daniel. Manny met Daniel through the internet. Now we're going to go from the internet and we're going to actually hug in real time, in real life. Like this. Like this. While I'm there in North Carolina, South Carolina, we're also going to shoot some footage. A lot of that footage is going to be on school. Some of it will never be released, but definitely most of it, if not all of it, will be released first on school. And again, some of the footage will be never released. It'll only be there for people that are part of the school community. Including I will be shooting some music video things. Michael Sellis, hopefully my cough is gone by then. I'm sure it will. He'll be shooting a video and recording the audio and putting it in school, and at some point even taking the recording and putting it on vinyl. We're going to also be jamming, Daniel and I. That'll be a lot of fun. Getting to meet John Hears will be pretty awesome. Who knows where that goes? That might turn into a few things as well and some more footage. So that's one trip we're doing. The second trip that we're doing is going to Florida for the conference, the Jerusalem-Athens conference that you've heard Jay Dyer talking about. Father Deacon Ananias, Dr. David Patrick Harry will be there. I will also be meeting for the first time, face-to-face and hugging Justin Marler and Buck Johnson, Paul Robbins. I'll be meeting Neil and Kate face-to-face. God bless them for helping me set this up. I'll also be meeting Tech Noir for the first time. So a good example of going from the digital to analog. And I will be doing my best to get as much footage as I can, exclusive content that we'll be putting up at school. And I have a bunch of more trips that I'd like to do, including going back to Texas because we got to take care of some business. We're registering the business. We're in the process of it right now. So we're taking this very seriously. We're doing this correctly. So we're registering our business in Texas. We want to go there. Also shoot some footage with Doug Burr, Gene Reeves, Dave Sims. I want to sit down with Germanus and have a face-to-face conversation. Father Paul, who you saw the interview with, which was one of the most fantastic. Father Justin and a Father Theophan and a bunch of others. All of these trips are going to be trips for me to get to meet people, you guys, as well as get footage for you guys. And I will do my best to ask the kind of questions and have the kind of conversations that you'll find valuable and edifying. I'll also be able to ask questions that I can't always put on YouTube. So I have a lot of really great conversations, especially with like priests off air. There's some really good questions that I don't exactly always want to put on YouTube, let's say. They have more of an Orthodox flavor. We have to have understanding of the mysteries and all of those. Not that I do, but those are the questions I ask. And then obviously the priests answer my question, but they might not be questions that intimate questions. They're intimate questions. So I want to start collecting a bunch of those questions, ask them after I'm done a pre-record. Like I pre-record that interview and then leave these questions for later and put them there. Unreleased tracks for people in school. Like, for example, I'm sitting on a lot of Justin Marler, unreleased, Father Turbo, unreleased, 3 albums, not 3 albums. Got some Justin Marler unreleased. You heard one track earlier that melted everyone's face. Gene Reeves, Post Feedum's always got stuff in the barrel. I got some stuff in the barrel I haven't put out. Doug Burr, I know Doug Burr's got like Dave Sims throws me stuff every once in a while. They're all ready to go. We got a lot of unreleased tracks. We're going to probably thread them through the school channel first before they get released. So you'll be able to kind of hear a lot of that. Playlists. So everyone keeps asking me for my playlists. There's a reason why I haven't been putting out my playlists. I want to share my playlists with you guys. I also want to collect some of your playlists and I want to put them out, and I want all of us to kind of like join in on this whole thing. Being part of school, you'll get access to our playlists. I want to put together playlists that are like exclusive that you can't get on any platform. Some old school stuff and kind of make it like a real mixtape. So it'll be like a mixtape playlist, MP3s of our artists or of our friends or other old tracks that maybe Daniel recorded a track 10 years ago. We could put that on there and you can only access it being on school. You'll be able to download it, carry that with you. Our playlists from SOS, but also our friends playlist. Again, we want to make this really about community and merch discounts. Manny, Daniel, what goes on with that?
On school, there's a code that anyone can find, and it'll give you access to 20% off everything across the board. 20% gone.
So Fireside Chats, our dear brother Daniel threw out that term a couple weeks ago when we were trying to think of something to do.
Oh, I don't know. You put me on the spot. A conversation about maybe some of the things that you can't or don't want to say necessarily on YouTube.
Yeah. It's kind of like fireside chats, like the FDR stuff, sitting by a radio. We want to kind of make it feel like you're sitting by a campfire with your buds. We jump on a stream, a private stream. We can kind of like ask each other questions about subjects. It's easier to have like private conversations and chat about stuff more freely and openly, knowing that the camera isn't rolling and you're amongst friends, as well as private SOS radio stuff where we could play some videos that we won't get in trouble for on YouTube because they don't like that. Also, you guys can jump on too. Hey, check out this song. You know, we can kind of take rounds, and someone like Tatiana could be like, yo, check out the song. Daniel could be like, yo, check out this song. So you guys have seen us have guest DJs on before. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. You know, just kind of us like doing the community thing for real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Kind of like a community conversation.
I miss old school radio, like actual old school radio. I know SOS radio kind of has that vibe, but also like doing it on video kind of changes that a bit and having an audience. So I was thinking about recording some SOS radios, just audio, and putting them in a way that you could just download them on your phone and you could just listen to them wherever you are, whenever you are, and then just kind of like do that. Private questions and answers. So I will be taking questions from you guys, and I'll be announcing who I'm going to be meeting. And then you could be like, oh, you're meeting Father Joshua. I want to go meet Father Joshua and go to Michigan to do that. So you guys can ask me questions about that, the relics of St. John Maximovich, and I can put that into the content.
You know, we're laying out the kind of the content and stuff for school, but we're also trying to incentivize, going back to the word value, signing up and joining. Like, we're trying to give you the most bang for your buck. Multiple reasons why you should consider signing up and being a part of the community on school.
Part of what we were saying in the beginning was helping support what we're doing with school, merch, and other ways. We want to take that money and invest it in content, but building relationships and community, and going from the digital to analog. You can do direct messaging with each other. You can post things, and we can set up different categories for it, like general conversation, music and art, icons, you know, all that kind of stuff. We already have some priests in our community too on Telegram. I would like to move them there as well, so you can actually have conversations and chat with priests. Of course, this is what it's all about, right?